Okay, so you guys know how being petty is like my spiritual gift, right?
Welcome to a new segment I'm calling That's Not Biblical.
Thank you for your contribution, man. Now,
Hello. Hold on, I think I still had you muted, April. I muted you. I think you're unmuted now.
Hello.
I unmuted myself. You guys, Rachel muted me right before we began.
I muted everybody.
Deeply insulting.
Because she said she was going to say something as soon as I went live, and then April's partner Beecher was talking in the background, so I had to just mute everybody. Listen, we're trying to be
shushing
professional.
them.
We're trying to be a little.
I literally I've gotten pinker since you began the episode. I don't know what's happening.
Abby had a fan on her right before we started, everyone, and unfortunately the noise
did nothing.
She couldn't have it on during the show. So, and she's drinking, so she's just going to get.
But
pinker.
This is not a drinking blush. This blush came. I just started, and this blush came out of nowhere.
All I know is everyone's in the chat talking about what they're drinking already, and so here's this, y'all. I have a quite heavy pour. April.
I don't have anything.
What kind of bourbon is it?
Let's do a little test here. How good of a friend are you?
Angel's Envy.
No, it's like she doesn't even know me.
4 Roses.
Which one? 4 Roses what?
Single barrel.
There we go. You are my friend. It's true. Bless. What are you drinking?
See, Katie got it right too.
Katie's a good friend too.
Katie is a good friend. I don't know. I'm drinking this thing called a Monaco Craft Cocktail Classic Mai Tai.
Okay.
I got it because it was pretty.
And is April drinking a LaCroix?
The tears of her enemies.
You know what? I barely got furniture in this room. I don't even have a LaCroix.
You don't even have like a water or anything?
I have nothing. I just texted Beecher and asked if they could bring me a drink.
I love it.
We'll
Besides
see.
my bourbon, if you had to guess what the other drink I have sitting next to me is, not
Water.
Alcoholic.
Diet Coke.
Like, see, you're the.
Is it in a styrofoam cup from earlier?
No,
Plastic.
no, because
close.
McDonald's doesn't do styrofoam anymore. Did I buy this like 10 hours ago when I was talking to Abby?
Don't say that so forlornly. Like, don't let people know about your secret shame.
My
Styrofoam.
Listen, it's so bad, but it keeps things cold forever. This is not what the show's about. Hi, everyone.
It's super not.
It's been a while because we were not together last month. In the month before that, we did not have Abby with us. So it has been a while since the three of us have been on a screen. Like in public. We've been on Zooms and stuff together, but
Hi, Andrew.
And we would not be us without our fourth friend, Andrew, always here, being our ride or die, always.
Who's also my brother.
At this point, I feel like everyone knows.
When I went to send the ladies an email for this month's episode, I could not for the life of me figure out how to get April's email address in the address bar because I kept typing April and nothing was coming up. And I finally realized it's because the first chain email that I got April's email off of, Rachel had sent. And Rachel has April in her phone as Andrew Albritton's sister. And so if I want to email April, I have to type in Andrew.
Same. I know. I'll go to type you guys in. I'm like, Andrew, I need to switch it just so that makes that part of this easy.
It was so confusing.
So then I don't actually accidentally send something to some other Andrew, like a client of mine or something that would be like, well, what's a heretic?
That started from like episode 1 or 2. Show.
Oh my gosh. It was so early on.
Which we're getting.
Oh my gosh. Look what Beecher just brought me.
Is that wine?
It's a whole bottle.
They're the best.
Are you just drinking from the bottle?
Just take the cap off and drink.
Oh,
Here.
That was the joke. I got that. I do have a LaCroix now.
The LaCroix. Nice.
LaCroix.
It's like we're really here. I love that Caitlin knows.
Some wine, but that's fine.
Caitlin knows it was episode 2. We're
Episode 2.
getting semi close to a year.
I know, that's crazy.
Started last summer. I know. It's so crazy, but it's been really fun. So since we haven't been here in a while, what's everybody been up to? I've been world traveling. Not really world traveling, just country traveling. The face Abby's making. Listen, Abby, it was in your notes to say, what's everybody been up to?
I regret it so much right now.
You're making face. Abby has been having a hard time, but
It didn't even occur to me that I was going to have to answer that. Funerals, guys, just like endless funerals.
Oh,
I'm
God.
super excited about summer 2022, the summer where no one dies. My bar
Yes.
is very low.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah. You have been spending most of your time, unfortunately, at funerals lately. I didn't even think about it reading through your notes when you said that
I
until
wrote
I said
them.
it out loud. And I'm like, oh shit. Then I saw your face and I was like, so April, what have you been up to lately?
There's no hope that my face is going to return to a normal color. Any normal color you see, that's where my concealer is.
It is impressive how like watermelon pink your
You
face
are.
actually is. Like you're turning into a berry.
I
Is
do
this
feel-
a VeggieTales episode?
Oh, we could. What was your favorite VeggieTales?
Look, it's that Norwegian,
Madam Raspberry.
was a
that
good-
Norwegian blotch, man.
The "You Are My Cheeseburger" song. I used to sing that song all the time. Off topic, but VeggieTales makes me think of it. Listen, it was a great
That was
song.
a good song.
I just saw a TikTok that was like, no matter how far you go spiritually, what's the one VeggieTales song that you will still get down to? And I was like, ooh, that's a good question. Because I think that a lot of people might go like the hairbrush song or the
Mhm.
cheeseburger song. But you know
Classic.
which one I thought of?
Grapes of Wrath, because I love that one.
I do love that one. The one where they're for Daniel and they're like, we could tie him up and beat him up and throw him out of Babylon. Like, I don't
Yes.
know why, but their little 3-part round harmony thing, it always cracks me up.
I always have a soft spot for the Water Buffalo song.
The Water Buffalo.
And I
song
don't
is
really have a
great.
reason why. Everyone has a water buffalo. It just cracks
Yours
me
is
up.
fast and mine is
Mhm.
slow.
Yeah.
Listen, this is gonna take a semi dark turn, not really, but that game, we were old by the time that was big, right? High school for sure, but we were all really into it. We were also, I don't know if you guys were, but my friends in high school, we were also all really into Blue's Clues. And then obviously, Steve's been back to whatever. And I watched this thing. I don't even remember exactly what it was, but it was some psychologist talking. And she was talking about like our generation that we were, 9/11 happened when we were like, teenagers and we didn't really understand what was happening fully. And social media wasn't even out there. So it wasn't like we were reading things, whatever. And they were like, and he said, I feel like that generation was clinging to like their childhood somehow.
Mm.
And I was like, yeah, because I remember being like 16 or 17, like watching Blue's Clues all the time. Like that sounds kind of silly. But I think I was just trying to like not,
But I think
Lose
also,
it.
well, I'll speak for me. I was a babysitter. Like I was a regular nanny for a family after school, and they had kids Blue's Clues ages. And so in the summertime, they would watch it. And I was like, oh, I'm watching it because they watch it because they're kids. But the reality is, I was always like, it's so comforting. It's just so nice. It
So
feels like home
comforting.
here.
No. I did not mean to talk about 9/11. I don't. No, this
Man,
is why I'm
we
just
are
gonna-
rocking it today. Funerals, 9/11. Like, let's just keep going.
April, genuinely, what have you been up to?
I know. Say something happy. Oh,
Take
God.
the mic from both of us.
Yes. Well, to explain my setup, I'm in a different room because I'm staying at my in-laws' house and they just moved into this house and their top floor is fully furnished, but their bottom floor is not, and they don't really have a desk. So we're sleeping on an air mattress. So that's this. But they do have a boat and we were on a lake. So that's what I was doing today. If I
Lovely.
seem a little tired.
It's unfair that I'm as pink as I am and you're as pale and fair as you are, and you're the one that spent the day on the boat. Like, it feels
Well,
like if I'm going to be this pink, I should have at least gotten the fun part.
That's true.
Right.
I did lather myself in sunscreen because,
Is your
I'm
fair.
like sour cream white.
Sour cream.
It's like the shade.
You
Actually,
are-
I mean,
you're
I'm a
pretty
little darker
translucent.
now. Yeah, I was like, off sour cream white, I guess.
I get very tan in the summer, but I have not gotten tan yet. I have noticed at night that when I take my Apple Watch off, that I do have my line starting to
Mm.
form a little bit, which is nice. But
Yeah.
Hey,
Yes,
have you
ma'am.
guys seen the very aggressive TikTok about the woman that's developing an app that the Apple Watch lets your partner know when you're close so that they continue doing? Sorry, you said Apple Watch. It was the last TikTok I saw.
what do you?
I'm going to
Wait,
send
wait.
it to both.
Wait, explain?
It's an app that apparently you wear while you're enjoying yourself.
Yourself or
something-
with someone else?
You're supposed to do it with someone, and so
Okay.
it like measures your heart rate, and I don't know, I don't fully understand it, but basically it's like, hey, she's about to blow, and you should keep doing what you're doing. It's like a way to
Well,
keep
you
track.
could just tell them.
That's what I said.
Like, I think it makes sense if it was like you're out doing it on your own, and maybe they're like
Right.
giving the inspiration for it, like you're out, you're traveling or something.
Like, if you're not comfortable saying it out loud, how much more uncomfortable would you be for your app to be like, keep going?
Listen,
She likes that.
I don't know. I don't want
Don't
to be too
change
crass here, but like
anything.
if I was having sex and my partner was staring at his wrist, waiting
No,
for
your wrist. He'd have to be staring at
my
your
wrist.
wrist.
No, see, this is getting worse. This is a terrible app. I hope
Everybody
she
in
goes
the
on Shark
comments,
Tank and gets
everybody
made
in the
fun of.
comments was like, "This is amazing. I can't wait till it's ready." And I was like, "Do you guys not? I'm sorry. Have I? I don't. What's happening?
What if it never goes off?
That would be so demoralizing.
April.
Right? April, tell us about that. What if it never goes off?
I gotta be honest with you. I don't mean to. I've never had that problem. So maybe I'm a little tipsier than I thought.
But
Maybe.
but is it just I'm curious about the science behind it, because how would it know just being on your wrist?
I think the point
Just
is
heart
that it
rate?
measures heart rate and breathing. And what I want to be like, okay, well, we got to fool an app. Like, men,
How many
just
things
kinda
use
sounds
your
like
voice.
fun-
Be
like
like,
a fun
I
challenge."
enjoy what's happening. Don't do the other thing.
Yes.
Like,
Maybe instead of investing in an app, we invest in the things we need to learn some communication skills.
but man,
and like
is it not like
comfortability.
millennial purity culture? I feel
It
like this
is.
is the result of millennial purity culture that we're like, I'm not comfortable telling my partner what feels good. I need an app to do that for me.
I want to use it when I have my vibrator and just see what it does.
Yes, see
Just for
that
fun,
makes
just to test
that
it
makes
out.
That's on the
sense.
Heretics OnlyFans. You can find that at the link in the bio.
Boom. Katie says, okay, but I'm fat. So does my watch do anything? I'm climaxing when I'm just mowing the lawn? Probably. Let's be honest.
Okay, listen.
How does it
gonna
know if
find,
you're?
I'm
yeah.
gonna find the video and I'm gonna duet it, and then you guys are gonna weigh in. Like, this is a good idea, or this is stupid. Please stop wasting money.
Real quick, Samantha said that she loves my non-binary podcast, that she has similarities. She's bi and her husband is feminine. So thanks for listening to podcasts. That is something that I've been doing, is Beecher and I, because Beecher came out as non-binary. And I think we had them on the show, right? And we talked about it earlier this year. Yes. So we just finished. So we're completely done. All the episodes are out of the non-binary podcast.
Nice.
So that's been keeping my time a little bit.
I love April's
And
like, hey,
Rachel-
I don't want to get too far past these comments. I need someone
No,
to
no,
know that
you're-
my podcast is great. I'm just kidding.
No, Rachel.
It is.
April's the timekeeper this week, so she's trying to keep us on schedule. Good.
Well, I also
luck,
didn't want to
April.
ignore the comment.
No, I know. And that was wonderful. And people feeling seen by,
Mhm.
and that's something you guys touched on with this last episode, was the response that you've gotten, because there's so many people that just feel really seen and heard by the podcast. So I'm proud of you.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
It's
fun.
And
It's-
April, or Rachel, you are preparing for the new season of your podcast.
Yeah, so this week is the last episode of season 4, and then I'm going to announce it this week on the podcast. I'm kind of restructuring a little bit. Instead of just taking the 4-week break in between, I'm taking the summer, and we'll be recording all summer long with stories, so that it's all kind of done, and we're putting out the season in the fall, and I'm so excited.
Dude, how many
so
how many
awesome.
inquiries have you got about people wanting to be on?
My favorite thing, I've gotten several. My favorite thing is people are just emailing me, and they're not even telling me their stories yet. They're like, I'm happy to share. They're just saying, like, subject line is like, I'm in. Like, that's
Oh,
all
yeah.
the subject lines keep saying. And that just it's exciting. And
Can I be on it?
come on.
You
Absolutely.
can do a tell-all.
I've got some shit to say, man, and I've hit a point where I'm like, I don't care anymore.
Yeah. And I want people to be, I'll tell their stories for them. They can come on. We can name names. We can not name names. We'll do this the right way to, like, protect people in every way that we can. and I have no problem taking the brunt of most of it. I literally legit had a conversation with my lawyer who I have for my business the other day to talk about planning this. Like, what can I say? Name what name so that I can plan all of that. So that won't be on the shoulders of anyone. So people can be anonymous, and I will just tell your story and come on and tell your own story. But the video that was going around with the woman in Indiana, which is with
Do you
the
know
pastor.
how close I am to that church?
I do.
Oh, the Indiana pastor.
Yeah, the
You're close
Indiana
to that
pastor.
church?
Yeah, it's
Oh, I
up
didn't
there.
know that, Abby.
I think that video just that hit different for me, even than the Southern Baptist Convention report and stuff, which is horrible, right? But like that, to watch that happen and then to watch the church get up and pray around the pastor, for me, it's like, someone the other day, I can't remember her name. I know who she is. I follow her on Twitter. Said like, reach out to so and so. She's been doing this for a while. That's cool. I really want people who feel like they have nowhere to tell their story, and it's so hard to watch their like pastor of 200, 300 people get away with what they've gotten away with. I want to tell your story.
So as many of you know, I was the pastor of a church plant in Covington, Kentucky for a long time, which one of the main things that we did within our church body was we acted as a hospital church for several people, most of whom that needed that service were coming out of one church in that area. Almost all of them have had to sign NDAs. They were all almost all of that group former staff members, had to sign NDAs. Just the things that I know. And I've been sending your information like crazy. I'm like, hey babe, she will keep you anonymous. I have a friend who compiled a entire website's worth of data on the abuses of that church.
Are we talking about the church that I went to for a while?
Mhm.
Yeah, I figured, but yeah.
Mhm. And I was like, you have to go on this podcast. She will keep your name quiet.
Absolutely.
She will literally be so fierce with your anonymity. So I feel like I'm like, everyone in my life is like, we get it. Okay, calm down.
You trust her. Okay.
She's wonderful.
I'm just really excited, and I want to take it. I know it's going to feel like a really long break in between, but I want to take the summer to, I think, be intentional with it. I know that I need to be intentional even with the stories that actually, make it on the air versus not, because it needs to be safe for everyone. But yeah, so I'm excited. And I promise you, this is not me like trying to stir up trouble or whatever. This is more me genuinely trying to help fix a problem. And taking people's power away is one step to fixing a problem when people that are shitty have power. So
I love that.
I think that part of the issue is that, especially in churches that don't have like a liturgical hierarchy of leadership, when you've been wronged by your pastor in a serious way, a way that is, see, this is the thing. So I had a video on TikTok go big last summer where I talked about being abused by a pastor, and people were very quick to jump to sexual abuse, but that's not what happened. And I kept saying over and over, there are a lot of ways to abuse people that are immoral, but not illegal.
Right. Absolutely.
And I think within the church, one of the biggest issues is that pastors so often commit abuses that are immoral, but not technically illegal. And we like, the bar shouldn't be, they didn't molest me. That's a really low bar.
So low.
And there are so many people that have a story to tell and they have nowhere to tell it because people don't pay it the weight that it deserves. So I'm really thankful that you're giving people that platform and that you're giving them the opportunity to just, that you're holding that kind of space and bearing witness to what they've been through, because people deserve that. That's part of the healing process.
They do. They do. All right. Well, let's not be too emotional. This isn't even what we were supposed to talk about.
Do either of you have any big summer plans this summer?
Okay, listen. So I can't say what I want to say about summer before I acknowledge that we literally, because I was getting ready to say we're 2 days away from my birthday month, but we just missed your birthday. So Everyone, we
Oh
just
God!
missed Abby's
Immediately stop.
birthday. I need everyone to sing happy birthday to Abby. Can we sing it like in the style of like the last song
There
on
are
Cry
two
Night?
of you. There are two of you. You want all of them to just sing at their computers? Stop immediately.
Also, it's gonna be off. It's not gonna be on because of the lag.
First of
Can
all,
I tell
Buzzkills.
you-
I was kind of joking about actually singing in the style of Cry Night. That's
How
what
would
I'm
that be?
Happy,
Happy.
saying. You'd have to like build it up, right? You'd be like, you might be here tonight, and you came in here. You didn't know you were gonna come in being 36, but you're
When
leaving
you-
here 37. That's
There
what
was
I'm
a
saying.
day. There was a day that changed. It changed everything. One day.
One
I'm playing
day.
Pat.
One day.
And on that one day, something big happened to this earth. Something so big and so beautiful.
Right
All
there.
you have to. I can't keep going. This is so horrifying.
So,
Don't-
happy birthday to Abby. I was gonna use.
Thanks.
It is going to be my birthday month in a couple days, so I have that. My birthday's in 3 weeks, less than 3 weeks.
Woo-hoo.
So I'm
That's
excited.
exciting. April,
I-
do you have big plans for the summer?
We are gonna go to our first Pride week, like Pride
Awesome.
stuff, like openly.
Yeah.
So that's fun. And other than that, I'll probably go to visit my family in Texas in July. And then
That's exciting.
my oldest has her birthday in June as well, Rachel. So, and our anniversary is in June, but her birthday is 2 days after our anniversary, so we really don't have an anniversary anymore. It's all in party planning.
Her birthday's really close to mine. I think she told
Hers
me that
is
when I was
June
like-
24th.
Mine's the 20th.
Ah,
Yeah,
and our
so-
anniversary is the 22nd. So
It's
we're
a
right
it's
in
a
the middle.
happy week right there.
Mhm.
Do either of you by any chance have on your summer plans coming to Cincinnati?
I do in July.
April, come to Cincinnati.
Okay, well, we'll talk about it.
We'll talk. I guess we'll talk about it. Abby's
Let's
not
take this
talking
out.
to us.
I'm sorry. I got so April said Pride, and I wanted to show you guys something because it's your first Pride. So I wanted to show you something. This is going to go badly for me. So my kids are going to Pride with us this year.
We're
Lula.
taking our kids.
Yay!
Awesome.
So my daughter is very excited, and so we're there with the church that we're attending. And we have stickers. I've ordered stickers for them to hand out. And some of them are just the pride flag, but then some of them are the individual flags so that people can choose. And then I also got them this so that they could offer people. Let's see if I can do it in the, it's literally just,
Oh, that's
Oh,
cool.
pretty.
look at that.
For those
It
of you
won't-
listening, it's like
Oh.
what do you even call it? Like
It's,
It's like a stamp, but it rubs.
Yeah, it's like a
A rainbow
colored
stamp.
crayon, and it's not showing up super great in the thing, but it ends up leaving a pride flag on
I
your
think it's cool.
face.
Where'd you get that? I want one.
Party City. That's why I showed it to you. It's from Party City. You should. It's
Mm.
like $5. I
I'm gonna
bought
go get
2 of
it.
them
I need to get
so that my kids could like just go and while they're there offer people.
I have like no Pride stuff. I need to up my game. I
have some
need
stuff.
Pride
I
material.
need to. Last year I went to Hamilton's Pride the day that you were at Covington's Pride, Abby, and like
Mm.
everybody. There was like nobody being horrible at Hamilton Pride, and you had horrible people down there. And so I think I'm going to go to Covington this year because I'm just ready to fight people. Like
Dude, I truly almost got arrested.
I know you
last year.
did.
So the thing about Pride merchandise, like getting stuff for Pride, I really struggle with rainbow capitalism. It's a meh.
Mhm.
But what I will say is Target, God, can I swear?
Can you
Okay.
swear?
Are you new
God.
here?
God damn it, Target.
Are you
God
new
damn it. They were like, you know what? How can we get the queer people to lay their politics about capitalism aside? I know. We'll get queer people to design our queer merch. And it worked. When I tell you it worked, there's a shirt with in the corner of it's a crop top, and in the corner, like in where you would have the breast pocket, are
Mhm.
2 finger guns in the bi flag colors. It's the bi finger guns.
I love it. I
Whoa,
want
what are
that.
bi finger guns?
It's this stereotype about bisexual people. We finger gun a lot, where we're like, hey, in pictures, we're like,
I've never done that.
I know it's a stereotype They have all of these very prominent queer artists who designed all of their merch for Pride, and it's incredible. And they have a display where they highlight the artists, and I was like, dang it. Okay. And there's everything about it. And at their dollar spot, they have sections where you can buy flags, sunglasses, and socks in not just Pride flag colors, but in the specific flag colors. So, like in the trans colors, in the bi colors, in the pan colors. Like, I got pan sunglasses. I've
That's
never had
awesome.
pan merch in my life.
That's
And I was
hilarious.
like, man, I'm pretty against rainbow capitalism, but Target, you did real good. You
Target
did real
does good.
They do. I guess I'm gonna have to head over there.
Now I'm trying to rack my brain on how many times I've done this.
A lot. I can tell you as someone that has been around you. You definitely.
I literally don't.
I
Like,
do. Why
It's
is that?
bisexual. I don't.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Did you see the shot glasses that I got from Target? Oh my gosh. It was a set of 4. One says granola gay. One says the astrology gay. One says the mom of the group. And the other one says chaotic bisexual.
Ooh. Andrew works at Disney now. Big
Nice.
pro. But he said in June, I think it's in June, 100% of their proceeds are going to LGBTQ nonprofits if you buy Disney Pride merch.
that's awesome. I have some of their Pride merch. Should get some more.
You should. Well, speaking of summer plans, tonight's episode is all about growing up in the evangelical church in summertime. As you know, Pride events were not really par for the course.
No, we did not. We did not go to Pride events.
We talked about Pride Rock.
Oh God. It's been a great show, guys. We're done for the night.
So we were talking about like this show and what we were going to talk about for kicking off summer. And we were thinking about what it's like growing up evangelical in the church, but specifically in the summertime. And one of the things that we talked about was there's all of these very specific events that churches do in the summertime. And it starts with VBS. Did either of you guys go to VBS?
Yes.
Vacation Bible School.
I thank you for explaining the acronym. I always forget to explain the acronyms.
Yes.
I feel like Vacation Bible School was like, because you could be really little going there. Like it wasn't camp. Like, right. I think at my church, like you could be like 3 at Vacation Bible School. And it was like a week in the summer where your parents could like go out to dinner without you.
In all fairness, I never attended Vacation Bible School. So in researching this episode, I was Googling things. And the internet is basically like Vacation Bible School, also known as a week of free babysitting.
You never went to VBS?
No, my church didn't do it.
That's odd. Every church did it. That was like the one thing all the churches had in common. Was that
I think that my church started. So I went my whole life. I was at a church my dad had planted when I was like 3. And so they started doing it, but I was too old. By the time they started doing it, I was already like in college.
I feel like our VBS was like, you did some kind of physical activity outside, like some game or something like that. Maybe a water balloon fight, something like that. There was like a craft probably. The gospel
there are lots of crafts.
Lots of crafts.
There were lots of
worship,
songs that you could learn.
Of songs.
Oh my gosh.
All the motions, to all the different songs. That's where we pretty much learned them. And then
it kind of feels like everything ran along this one of the same 4 themes. It was like exploring space, exploring the jungle, exploring the under the ocean, or exploring the desert. And then it was like treasure.
See, I feel like I might have like predated that though. I think I might have been too old for that, where there was like no theme, really. Like there wasn't like
really.
Yeah, we just like we were just there doing whatever they wanted to talk about like that day.
April, was it the church your dad was pastoring? Is that where you did VBS?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely did VBS there, and that was a large church. We had like 3,000 to 4,000 members in Dallas, so they did it up really big, and I remember it being a lot of fun. But also, it was my home church, so I was with my friends. But we always did it in the morning. It wasn't in the evening. It would be like from like 9 to noon.
Mm.
And you have a little snack in between. But I do remember a lot of times too, just to get that extra babysitting, my parents would just randomly sign us up for other churches' VBSs too. And so we were Pentecostal. We went to a non-denominational church, but one time they signed us up for this like really small Baptist VBS that was right down the street. And I remember my brothers and I were like bored out of our minds. Like it
Oh
could
my
have been, we don't know if it
gosh.
was the Baptist part or the small church part, but it was
Listen, our Baptist VBS was pretty cool. So watch your mouth.
like,
Watch your mouth.
I can't even picture what a Baptist VBS would look like. Did you? Because when you say Baptist, there's a wide range of what that could look
true.
like.
I don't know
Absolutely.
what type of Baptist it
Rachel,
was.
was
They had
yours
the little
like Southern Baptist? Like, were you praise dancing at VBS, or was it like high lace collar Baptist?
No, I don't think that there's any praise dancing Baptist at all. I
Oh
don't
yeah,
think.
there is.
Okay,
Who,
this church
and who let them be a Baptist? Because we don't do that.
some of the Baptists are trying to be more like Baptist-costal. But
Mhm.
this
Baptist-costal.
this Baptist VBS had the like blue felt board, where they told the stories with the little
I
felt
love
characters.
Felt Board
Yeah.
Jesus.
That's
He's
how I
so
learned about
handsome.
God.
Yeah, that's good for
Hi,
Sunday
Patrick.
school. VBS, you got a game. That's like, that might be a sideshow for one day on VBS, but it was like the whole thing.
No, our VBS was a little bit more that. Can I tell you one of the only memories I have from VBS is that this is so typical, a different set of 3 kids every night got to carry in the American flag, the Christian flag, and the Bible flag. Is it the Bible? Is there a flag for the Bible or just the Bible?
Probably
the
is a
Christian
bag.
flag.
No, the Christian flag. And then I don't think the third person just brought in the Bible, that we
Bible.
did the pledge of the Bible. And I always wanted
Yes,
to be that kid.
flannelgraph.
And I couldn't. I never got to be that kid.
But here's the real question. Were they carrying the flags on like sticks? Were they on were they
and
raised?
then they put them
Okay.
in the
What
the
was
little
raised
thing.
higher? Was it the Christian flag?
It's probably the American flag.
It was probably the American flag.
So
Oh, speaking-
technically
ahead.
the American flag is technically by flag code, you can't fly any flag higher than the Christian or the American flag. In the private school I went to, the Christian school, they flew the Christian flag higher. And it was
Listen,
like
That's
this
good though.
big-
Go them.
I'm about to put a flagpole in my yard and
to
put
flag
my Black
Christian-
Lives Matter flag higher than an American flag. I think I'm
Yeah,
gonna do
I
it.
feel like flying your Christian flag, which is basically like America, but Jesus-y. It wasn't the win you're thinking. Trust me when I tell you, I went to this school. It
Okay.
wasn't the win
But I
you're
will say,
thinking it
I'll
was.
say, I cringe when I see the American flag over the Christian flag because that's just. I mean, we know it's Christian
they're both
nationalism, but they're
cringy.
just. But
Yeah,
I feel
I
like if
cringe
they
when I
put it
see any
above-
flags. Like the fact that there's a Christian flag at all, I'm like, oh, that's real weird. It's real
Yeah.
weird.
Okay, can I just say
Yes.
today while I was out on the lake on a boat, I saw
I was
another
on the
boat.
boat today
I
on the
saw
lake.
another boat that had lots of flags. It had 4 flags, really high, strung on 2 poles. On the top 2 was a Trump flag
Of course.
and a Blue Lives Matter flag.
Of
And then
course.
beneath that was the American flag and the Christian flag.
Naturally.
Naturally, as one will do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, how
And
about
I
just
was-
no flags?
Just no flags.
So many
No.
flags.
So I never really did VBS. I mean, I have volunteered at VBS, and I feel like that's a whole trip in and of itself. Like there are pictures of me in clown face makeup for
Oh, gosh.
VBS, and I married at the time that I married him. He was a children's pastor, so like VBS was a big part of our lives. But growing up, the thing that was a big deal for me in the summertime was church camp.
Mm-hmm.
We lived for
I
it.
loved church camp.
Sleepaway church camp.
Yeah.
I
I
feel like
started.
me call it Bible church camp.
Yeah. So y'all earlier she said something about Bible camp, and I was like confused because I'm like, aren't you talking about church camp? Like you're talking about something different? She's like, no, church camp. And in my head, I think I was thinking like a Jesus camp kind of thing. Remember?
Mhm.
I'm like,
Oh,
does
yeah,
she mean
it-
like some militant kind of like? Because I never did any of that.
But
with
I'm
church
super
camp.
interested. You as a like April, I feel like you and I, we both come from pretty Pentecostal backgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I understand what your church camp experience was probably like. Rachel, I'm so curious. What was your church camp experience like as a Baptist?
So the first camp I went to started going when I was in 3rd grade, and we were there until junior high. And that was actually just like a regional camp. There were like we were very close. We were only like 45 minutes, but there were people at this camp from like Indiana, Michigan, Kentucky, Ohio. It was called Camp Chautauqua for anyone that's listening that might know Camp Chautauqua. And I think that it was Baptist, I'm pretty sure. And so because I don't really remember anybody being there that wasn't Baptist. But beyond that, then I went to like Go Tell camp. And
What's Go Tell? What
you've never heard of Go Tell or like Lift?
No.
These are huge camp conferences, like tens of thousands of students. Are they Baptist too? Maybe I just didn't know that. Go Tell and Lift were like the 2 big camp like organizations that I would go to. Never heard of them? Okay.
I haven't, but I believe
I
you.
would
They
say
must be Baptist then.
I get the idea. Like I hear the name and I'm like, Go Tell. Okay, I get it, but I've never heard of it.
So like Go Tell camps, they would have like Passion would be leading our worship, and like they were down like Panama City. They were at Liberty one time. We went to Lift at like Cedarville University. Like those were like thousands and thousands of kids. So I'm guessing maybe it was Baptist.
Did y'all's church camp have the blob?
What the hell?
No, because my church camp happened on a lake that they didn't encourage swimming at. You could rowboat or kayak, but you could not swim. Lake Winnebago is disgusting.
I don't know what's a blob.
You
the
don't
blob?
Nope.
It's like a giant slab of of an inflatable that is on the water. One person jumps on it and then goes to the very edge. And then
It's
the
like a
next person
giant-
jumps down and it shoots that person
Yeah.
off
Okay.
into the water.
So what I'm thinking is our camp experiences were very different.
Our camp experiences were
Because
so-
we didn't go in like a lake. We were
what
never
did
at
you
a lake.
do?
Well, like when we were at Camp Chautauqua, there, we played game. Like there was like, a basketball tournament and a volleyball tournament, and there was a pool there and a bowling alley and a golf course, and like
Golf course.
This feels very
my
bougie.
No.
So
This
bougie.
sounds very bougie, but it was not. I promise you, it was like pretty dilapidated.
Rachel.
Yes,
The
ma'am.
second night of our kids' camp, we all got out our pillows. We took them out of our pillowcases and we took them into the pitch dark field next to the chapel, and we searched for candy at midnight. That was our big.
That sounds like maybe something we would have done. We had a shaving cream fight, like a big. That
Okay.
was the last day. We would do that.
You lost me at golf course.
It was a little miniature golf course, and then when we were at like Go Tell
miniature.
or
It's
Lift,
different.
it was like sports and different competitions and stuff like that. But we were never like in the water. Like at Go Tell, we stayed in a hotel in Panama City Beach. Like it was.
We had like bunks and like cabins.
Yeah,
and-
Chautauqua was like that.
Wait,
In fact, fun fact this is nothing to do with anything, but I was thinking about it today when I was thinking about church camp memories. Okay, first year, 3rd grade, which now as an adult, I realize is very little. Like to be going away for a week, it with like 20-year-olds as your counselor, very little, right? So they fed us obviously 3 meals, but my mom gave us $10 because they had like a little ice cream shop or something like
canteen.
that. And so my best friend Joy and I, she's still my best friend now, we got there at noon on Monday, and by Monday night we'd spent all our $10. Like we were like, nobody
Of
can tell us
course.
not. We're buying all the ice cream. I ate so much ice cream that I woke up in the middle of the night and I had to stay on a top bunk, which I had never slept on a top bunk before. And I was trying to get down and I didn't get down in time, and I puked all over her
Oh no.
on my bottom bunk. And my mom had to pick me up at 8 a.m. the next morning. I lasted like 15 hours at camp my first year
Oh.
because I ate all the ice cream.
see, I
sorry.
loved camp. I loved it. And
Yeah, it was
and
fun.
we had, as an adult, I have very complicated feelings about it now, because obviously there's a significant amount of like indoctrination and emotional manipulation. Like that's where the whole cry night for me, I experienced cry night at camp. That was
Yeah.
a camp thing. But some of my favorite memories growing up happened at camp, but they just had nothing to do with chapel. It was like other parts of camp that were so, I don't think you can get that many kids in one space for a week
Mhm.
and not develop some really fun memories.
Mhm.
True.
Yeah. I think, sorry, because Dan saying that this is the first time he thinks he's heard us talk positively about church-related memories. That's not to say we're not going to get into what is
for sure.
not so great about church
I'm
camp.
gonna talk about it.
But yeah, your kids being able to do things that are fun and stuff. Like, of course, there's just good memories attached to that. And that's why it ends up being manipulative at the end.
Well, and I also think too, for a lot of us, like I was homeschooled and my parents weren't like super, super strict, but they were pretty strict. And I was somewhat sheltered, and going to church camp where my parents weren't there was like it was like freedom, even though there were weird rules, but it was like, oh, I can do what I want to a degree, you know?
Yeah.
How many boyfriends did you guys make while you were at church camp? Because I made a new one every year.
I can't talk about it. I can't. Listen, there were two kinds of girls at church camp. Okay.
Yeah.
One, the kind of girl that got a camp boyfriend, and two, the kind of girl that got the gift of prophecy or the gift of what, like, as a pastor's daughter, I wasn't allowed to have a camp boyfriend, but I better come home with the gift of discernment. You know what I mean?
I remember one year that his name was Colby, and I remember that all these years later because his name was Colby. I wonder whatever happened to Colby. He had a bowl cut.
Remember. Oh my gosh. Okay, so
Daddy had a bowl cut.
He did. It was very cute.
I was 12 when I went to my first church camp, and then I went again when I was 17 and 18. So 17 and 18, you know, I was a little older, but when I was 12, there was this kid named Jared, and he also had a bowl cut, and I had a major crush on him. And I thought that he had a crush on me too, because everyone was telling me that he really liked me. But the way that he would flirt with me was by telling me that I had chicken legs, because I had mosquito bites all over my legs. So he was like making fun of me. And then like literally everyone started calling me chicken legs. And I couldn't tell if I was like offended by it or if I thought it was cute.
Or if you were flattered by the attention.
Thank you.
No, it was like 12-year-old flirting. And it was so weird.
Guys, I was the fat friend who didn't like I was also the pastor's daughter, and like my grandfather built the chapel and my other grandfather was the president of the church affiliation the camp was under. So like no boys would touch me unless they wanted. I was like the fat friend that everyone was like, hey, I really like your cabin mate. What's she like?
I got that too, for sure.
And I was like, I mean, she likes, I don't know. And like, we're at camp. What do you want me to tell? You could like pray for her at chapel time. Did you ever do that? Did you ever pray for someone, but really it was just because you wanted to like have physical contact with them at camp? Mm-hmm. Let me give no. Okay, well, you're both staring at me.
No, I wouldn't.
No, okay.
Sometimes I would try to like sit by someone because I would know that. Okay, grab your neighbor's hand. Let's pray. You know, and try to sneak in a pinky, like intertwine that sucker in there.
Well, so again, being Baptist, like I probably would have an adult probably would have like come and got me if I like had my hand on a boy up at the altar, like touching him. Oh yeah, for sure. Like girls pray with girls, boys pray with boys. For sure.
The thing about non-denominational churches is that some of them are more intense than others about those rules. So like at the church, that was a rule. But then at camp, they didn't want to hold everyone to the rules of one church. So you could get away with like, and I have a very distinct memory. It's one of those memories where it just pops up unbidden. And I'm like, oh God, oh no. Mm-hmm. I was probably like 16 or 17. It was probably my last year. I was like going to be a senior. And the boy that I had a huge crush on had broken up with his camp girlfriend. And I was like praying for him. And as I was praying for him, I was like stroking the back of his neck, like the nape of his neck. And in my mind at the time, I was like, this just looks like I'm praying for him. And now as an adult, I'm like, nah, babe, that whole chapel was like, what is she doing? This is so uncomfortable. What is she doing? Oh but that's the thing about church kids. We have no concept of appropriate physical intimacy.
We never like taught it.
Well, so we were taught it to like, I mean, to a complete different extreme of like, It was all inappropriate. Any physical contact of any kind.
Were y'all taught the don't make purple thing? Because I think that's a newer thing. No, boys are blue. Red. Boys are blue. Girls are pink.
What the fuck? Purple. What color are boys?
I actually learned that in drama class at my high school. But boys are blue, girls are pink. Don't make purple.
So I think that's a newer thing because I never heard that at any of the church camps that I went to. Anyway, but someone left a comment on, I made a video about church camp recently, and someone commented that she got caught making out with a girl at church camp. And the counselor was so confused that they just still yelled, "No purple."
Look at him say, no. Okay.
See, I
Did
will
you all
say-
have to wear culottes? Or were you allowed to wear like regular shorts? We were not allowed to wear shorts like above the knee. Like we had to wear culottes. Do you know what culottes are?
I had to wear long shorts as well, but they were more like board shorts.
We
type.
were not. Mm-mm.
But
And
they were
then
like
gaucho pants came out when I was in high school. So we just wore like cotton gaucho pants every day. It was so comfortable.
Do you know that gaucho pants are coming back? And I, for one, could not be more thrilled.
I should not have worn them back then. Do you remember how short my legs are?
Yeah,
I
but
look like an idiot in gaucho pants. I really do.
I think camp fashions are so interesting because I feel like we're all around-ish the same age.
Mhm.
When I was in church camp as a senior or like junior, senior, layering was big. So you'd wear 2 or 3 ribbed tank tops, and ribbed tank tops have a larger strap. So if you wore 2 or 3, you met the 3-finger rule.
Yep.
So we would all wear 2 or 3 tank tops and then a long maxi skirt to chapel at night. And it was like the height of formal fashion.
I bet you
for
were
chapel.
so cool.
Oh my God.
Listen, was one of your tank tops though lined and laced at the bottom?
Yes.
Of course it
always.
was. It had
But
to be.
can I tell you a secret that to this day no one knows?
Okay, well, you're getting ready to tell everybody.
I know.
This
I'm
is
ready
a
to come
live
clean about
podcast.
it. I'm very tall, April, as you know. That layering trend for us tall girls, it was a bitch. Because when you're that tall, it's hard to find tank tops that are long enough to layer. But you know what department has them? Because they add an extra length?
Oh, maternity.
Maternity. So all of my lace-lined tank tops were all maternity tank tops because they had extra length for us tall girls.
Listen, a couple years ago, I bought a maternity bathing suit from Target because I have to wear 2-piece bathing suits because my torso is too long from like where the crotch needs to be, right? And so like regular stuff, I just don't like how high it has to come on my hips, but a maternity one is longer. And so I definitely bought some clearance maternity bathing suit. I was like, and then of course I was like, what if I'm at the pool and this like 8-month pregnant woman is in the same bathing suit? Everyone's gonna know.
Or people just think she's rocking a regular one.
We'll be like, look at her.
I would think that sooner. Like I would assume that before I would assume that you were wearing maternity.
Thanks, everyone.
Did you guys do camp just as campers, or did you also do camp as counselors?
I was a counselor. I led worship at a camp. Yeah.
I did lead worship at a camp, but I went the summer right after I graduated. So I was 18. So I was technically like young enough to be a camper, but old enough to be whatever. So I was
right on that fine line of authority.
Yes. So I do remember like the camp counselor had to be like, I have to share the bed with you because you're the only one that's not a minor. She was a girl, like my counselor. So I was like, okay.
You say that. Okay, well, I'm not good.
So anyway, so I was like kind of an unofficial leader, but not really. But it was interesting because I was dating another guy who was 17. I had just turned 18. So he was 17. He was the keyboardist and I was a worship leader. And everyone knew that we were dating. And we were dating. But they told us we had to act like we were not dating. And like not touch each other, not like we were just friends because it would be a bad influence on the campers to see people not courting because the youth group they were a courting only youth group. They were anti-dating. So
naturally.
Yeah. So they were like okay with it for us on the side, but publicly we had to be like, we're courting.
See, and my youth pastor was like trying to get us all to make out with each other all the time. He'd be like,
my youth pastor wasn't trying to get us to make out, but he was constantly coupling people.
Oh yeah. And like they're like, yeah, you could do whatever you want pretty much. And we did. And we used church camp to do that. Like, so this one year we did like our own church camp because we were like late to register for Lyft or Go Tell, whichever one. And so he took us all down, like rented like one of those things on the beach where like, 50 people can stay. like a private conference center or something, and we did our own worship and they did their own food. And so we were kind of like a free for all because I'm looking back at it again now. Like we were teenagers and all of the youth leaders and my youth pastor were like 24. So why my parents let me go on like a 15-hour bus ride, which with like 24-year-olds, I don't know. And they just didn't really care. So like people were just like hooking up like left and right after we cried at praise and worship and
After
got
we
saved.
cried
for
And
the
then they
Cry
make
Sunday.
you
night.
feel guilty about it on
Yeah.
that final cry night.
I'm
So
like,
you
oh, let
repent.
them fill
I
me
will
up.
say, for those of us in the LGBTQ, camp was wonderful because you were forced into same-sex activities all the time,
All
where
the
it was
time.
like the girls had to only be with the girls and the boys had to only be with the boys. So like swimming, where it was just a pool full of girls, I was like, okay.
Oh darn.
You know, it's
But
weird,
I
though.
didn't have the language for it then. Like, and I didn't, no one in my life was gay. So I didn't know. I just knew that this was exciting for me and I didn't
Mhm.
know why. I'm pretty sure my first lady crush happened at camp.
We did mixed bathing at all of my camps.
What?
For
Boys and girls
shame.
were allowed to,
Heathens.
they called it mixed bathing, which just means that boys and girls were allowed to swim together. Actually, one of them you weren't, but everywhere else. But the boys could just wear normal swimsuits, shirtless, just with their bathing suit bottom, their trunks or whatever. Girls had to wear a one piece with a t-shirt over it and
Yep.
shorts.
Mm-hmm.
It was like we were sleeping in full clothes, but the boys got to be half naked. So
My
stupid.
confusion. So I used to be the troublemaker at camp. Like I remember one year they told me my straps on my tank top were not wide enough. And so I went back to my cabin.
Did you have to get the sweatshirt of shame?
No, I got out duct tape and I took duct tape and I duct taped it into a 3 fingers width strap. They told me to change and I came back out and they're like, you did, my hair was like this. You guys, I was such a badass. My hair was like this. And they're like, you didn't change. And I was like, "Pah." And I had duct taped my straps so they were wide enough. And I remember a counselor being upset with me about the not wearing a t-shirt. And I looked at her and I went, there are literal wet t-shirt contests
Mhm.
because wet t-shirts are just as sexual as a bathing suit.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, the counselors were like 19. This poor counselor was like, yeah, well, but that true, but that's not the point. And I was like, so the point isn't that you're making me look just as sexual as if I was wearing a bathing suit? She ran away and got the nurse. And the nurse
The
was like,
nurse?
The nurse.
yes,
is that-
because then the nurse was like, Abby, go put on a t-shirt or I'm
Oh my
calling
gosh.
your mother.
I don't
I
think
knew girls that had to put on the sweatshirt of shame if they like only brought tank tops because it's freaking 100 degrees in Texas and that's what normal people would do. And they're like, sorry, you're going to have to wear this on. Like literally we would be playing a volleyball tournament and Fred's over there in a freaking sweatshirt
no.
and 100 degrees just dying.
Dan in the comments is asking, why are they so obsessed with 3 fingers? I don't know. I used to also ask, show me a boy at this high school camp that doesn't know that girls wear bras and I will put on a wider tank top.
I think by the time I got to those bigger camps, we didn't have a lot of those rules. Like,
Really?
yeah, at Chautauqua we definitely did, but at the bigger ones, I think it was like the youth pastor
More
and
chill.
was supposed to use their discretion, and like the camp was not going to intervene unless something was like,
Unless you were real hoary.
yeah, and then they would say something. But besides that, and I had a really chill youth pastor and pastor's wife, so like we kind of all wore basically whatever we wanted because nobody was really pushing the envelope too much. I don't know.
The one camp that I went to when I was 17, so I was still in high school. It was like not the church. I wasn't even going to this church. We went to this youth group like a couple times and they were having a youth camp. We were like, oh, we're available. Let's go. So me and my brothers went and we had a lot of fun.
Could you do that again?
We're like, oh, we're available.
What do you mean?
So me and my brothers went because we were, we did everything together. And it was a super Pentecostal camp, like the most Pentecostal camp I have ever gone to. And this was right around the time the Brownsville, I think it's the Brownsville revival where they was like the laughing movement was still going on. And I think those people were running the camp. So they had so many services. And I do remember one time the main speaker got a sword out, and I don't know what illustration he was making with the sword, but it had something to do with flirting is a sin.
Oh gosh.
I remember flirting is a sin, and I remember him holding a sword. And then they had everyone line up, and they were like, all right, we're going to go down. And so they laid hands on everyone, and everyone was falling over, and people were catching people, and they had the modesty cloths to cover up the girls that fell down who had shorts on because, whatever. And I remember I made up my mind. I'm like, I'm not going to fall down. I'm not going to fall down because everyone else is falling down. And I remember the guy's name was Tommy Zito. I don't know if you know who that is. He was one of the speakers, but he came up to me, and I had just sang because I won the talent show for singing.
She won the talent show, just by the way.
Yeah, just by the way. And so the guy.
Wait, who won?
I did. I won the talent show.
You won what?
I sang a Newsboys song.
Of course.
Anyway.
Which one?
It was before Michael Tate took over. So it was the Australian Newsboys.
I don't mean which newsboy.
I
I mean which song.
Song, April.
I don't even recognize the Michael Tate
the Australian one.
song that had to do with Michael Tate as the frontman of the Newsboys. I wouldn't even know the name of it.
It was glory, glory. He reigns.
Hallelujah, he reigns.
Yes.
We are all on different melodies and beats, just so we're clear.
Yeah, so anyway, he comes up to me, he lays his hand on me, and I'm like, I'm not gonna fall. And he goes, keep singing, da da da. And I just fell. He got me.
He gotcha.
But I was completely aware. And as soon as I got down, I was like, April, you stupid, you fell for it. Literally.
We didn't do that at Baptist.
I want to know, that brings up a really good point though. I want to know at the age and spiritual stage that you are at now, what is the cringiest camp memory that you have of yourself? What is the thing that you did that you look back on it now and you're like, oh god
Oh man.
I mean, I did sing in the competition every year, and this one year I sang the song from Prince of Egypt. What was it? Which is not really even a Christian song. The song, you know what I'm talking about? When you believe.
The Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey song? Of course you did. Of course you did.
My friend and I sang it together. We did. And looking back, that was probably pretty cringy to watch if anybody was watching us try to sing that song. But I don't know. I probably got saved 8 times. I don't know. That's cringy, right?
That's cringy.
Just
I mean, that's the
putting
most
it
cringy thing.
We all got saved multiple times, I'm sure. Because if you leave tonight,
you guys,
and
you're not
hits you.
instilling me and you're not instilling faith in me because I have so many cringy things. I'm gonna need a higher cringe factor.
I don't listen.
Okay.
I don't know how to tell you this, but I'm not that cringy.
honestly, I had tons of cringy things. Church camp, so much around me was cringy that somehow I was able to be pretty tame about it. But I will say, at the same Pentecostal camp, we were all put in different teams, and each team we were given a great leader of the faith name, and we had to come up with a cool name based on this faith leader for our team name. And we got Catherine Coleman. Do you know who Catherine Coleman is? Okay, well, she's big in Pentecostalism, apparently.
I'm a Pentecostal, and I have no idea who you're talking
She's
about.
big in the 80s. But anyway, so we made our team name was Jesus is a Coleman, like cool man, but cool man.
Okay.
That
I
was
have
pretty
to go.
cringy.
That's pretty cringy for sure.
You guys, absolutely not. No. Okay. Would you like to hear about some of the things that I did?
Sure.
Please.
One time at church camp. If you're young, you don't understand why that was funny.
One time at band camp.
One time at church camp, I received the gift of discernment. And I thought to myself, you know what? My best friend bothers me sometimes. I bet I could use this to make her who I want her to be. And so I went to her and I was like, it just feels like God is telling me he doesn't like that you're so jokey all the time.
What a bitch. What
I
a
was
bitch.
I was 12.
Well, you were a 12-year-old bitch.
Have you apologized to that friend?
Oh my God, profusely. The year, let's see, my sophomore year, we came back from camp, the theme of which was taking him to the streets.
Obviously.
And we thought,
taking him to the streets based on that song.
we were like, what could we? No, I have no idea what song that was.
Are you joking?
No,
You don't know that song?
no,
Taking it to the streets?
no.
I bet it
Oh.
was based on that song. You just didn't know.
It,
the song.
it absolutely was not. We had T-shirts. We had T-shirts printed up.
It's a pretty
So
popular song.
my youth group was like, you know what we should do when we get home? We should take him to the streets. Only we were suburban, upper middle class white kids. There were no streets. So we went to the mall and we split up. We split up into pairs and we wandered around the mall for 3 hours, introducing ourselves to people like this. Hi, my name's Abby. Can I talk to you about Jesus?
Oh, I hate
Oh
it.
my
so
gosh, you just
much.
unlocked a memory.
He loves you. I don't know if you know that.
Oh gosh, I hate you.
I hate me too.
Oh my gosh, you unlocked a memory at that same Pentecostal camp. They made all of us go out to places and witness for an afternoon, and we had to come back and report of all of the
Mhm.
great things that God did. And I think I blocked it out because I hated that stuff.
It's
Did you ever have to go door to door witnessing?
no.
Oh, I
Mm-mm.
did. Oh, I
That
did
mall
so
thing
much.
was the closest that I got.
When we were in Panama City one year, the year we did our own camp, I talked about this on my episode about church camp on the regular podcast. We had to go and give people, like, invite people to our Thursday night, like our cry night service on the beach. So people were just like literally on the beach with their families, and we were walking
Oh,
around handing, like,
That's so interesting.
talking, asking them to come. So we passed out. We all broke. There was tons of us. There's like 60 kids from just our church, obviously. And we like divide and conquer the whole beach. We show up for our service. 0 people came to our service.
It
Of
checks
course
out.
they did. Of course they didn't come to our service. Why?
No.
Because it's
would they?
weird.
It's
It's
freaking
weird.
weird. It's weird.
It's so weird. Oh my
It's
god.
so weird.
It's so weird. We just thought, I don't know.
I literally, you guys, okay, I'm going to tell you the cringiest thing that I remember from my years at camp. I was in the 5th grade. It was my last year at kids camp because in my non-denominational church association, you had kids camp, middle school camp, and high school camp. So
Yeah.
it was my last year in middle school camp. I faked being slain in the spirit.
Yeah, I
Every
don't even know what that means.
being slain in the spirit is like the Benny Hinn thing. Like,
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
You fall back, someone catches you.
No.
Hopefully.
yes, everybody was getting slain in the spirit, and I felt a lot of pressure. My mom was the worship the worship leader for the camp that year, and I just felt like this has to happen, otherwise I genuinely remember feeling like I was going to be in trouble. And I could tell that one of the children's pastors there, she wasn't my children's pastor, but she was a children's pastor that I knew and was like I had known my whole life. After I woke up from my fake slain in the spirit, she was like, what did I think she was on to me? But at the time, I just thought she was asking me questions. But now I'm like, oh no, she knew. She was like, what was it like? What did you see? And I was like, I saw really big pearls that were like gates.
Were they on a gate? Were the pearly
I
Like
think,
the pearly
I think it
gates.
was heaven. I saw heaven.
I saw Abraham.
Yeah,
Katie
and
says-
she
Katie says, I bet they'll make an app to let your pastor know when you're faking being slain in the spirit.
Oh
Keep
my
going,
God.
she's close.
You guys, can you just think like that is the funniest infomercial I've ever heard? Hey, pastors, are you tired of people being fake slain in the spirit? Do you want to know when they've really had an experience with the Holy Ghost?
Well, we have.
Well, now you can. We
For
got to
just
come up
3
with a
small
name
payments
for
of
this.
$19.99. You too.
Dan says, can someone explain Cry Night to atheists who grew up outside the church?
Okay, Dan. So church camp was typically Monday through Thursday, and then like a Friday morning, and then everybody left after that. At least that's how ours was. And on Thursday night, so now you are, and I actually talked on when I was on the Recovering Evangelical talking about it. I pointed this out. You're not only like emotional because of all of the
You're
Jesus that's been thrown at you.
exhausted.
You're exhausted. You're
Mhm.
underfed, underslept, like all of that. You are just at your
And
most
you've made
vulnerable state.
like your emotions are running high because you either have a camp boyfriend or you've made
Mhm.
camp best friends
Oh, yeah.
who you know you're about to be ripped from the bosom
Right?
of.
And they
Mhm.
are telling you, I mean, you're going back to the world and your family doesn't understand.
Don't
your
let
friends
this
don't
just be a
understand.
camp experience.
I know.
Don't go back to your homes and your schools and forget about the fire that's been lit here.
If you go home
Mhm.
and go right back to your life before, then this was for nothing.
Yeah.
It's
was-
like this never happened.
And then they almost always, I don't know if they did this for you, would always say like, also, you could leave tonight and get hit by a bus.
Oh my God,
What
yes!
if you're what
What
if
if
your
you're
van
hit by a
you're all in
bus?
your van on your way home?
Yeah, your bus wrecks.
And you
And you
had
just
this
never
opportunity,
know.
but you didn't take it.
What will your parents want to think about their child?
Yeah.
Will they
Mhm.
want to think my child experienced God and is in heaven with the angels?
Why
Or
was the
will they
whole-
be concerned that their child is burning in hell? Do you want to do that to your parents?
Why
Turn
was
your
it
eyes on
always
James
a
Patty
bus?
song.
Could they not think of any other way to die? It was always getting hit by a bus.
It was always.
Like,
Oh,
what if you get
Dan,
struck
it's
by
so
lightning?
manipulative. It's
Yeah.
so manipulative.
Dan, even like the service would be like, every night we would at least have worship beforehand and then the message and a little bit of worship after. Altar would be open, whatever. This night, the worship after was like triple the length of the regular
Oh,
worship.
yeah.
They were,
And it was
they knew
whatever
what they were
heavy
doing.
hitter songs were in
Mhm.
rotation at that time.
Whichever ones made you cry.
Yes.
Like these days, I feel like Oceans probably featured heavily for a while at church camp.
I
Sing
also
the King was big for us back
we
then
would-
when we were crying about that.
we would
What's
also
the
they
Raise
would
My Hands one? I stand with
arms high
and
heart
heart
offended.
Okay,
offended.
but aren't we way too old for that to have been at church camp?
No, that one
Oh,
was
I was a
college for
counselor.
me.
Yeah, I was a
That was
counselor.
college for me.
Mhm.
I also would hear
Rachel.
like, I know you guys have made such great friends this week,
Mhm.
and you're sad that you're gonna miss them. How much more do
Would
you
you
want to
miss them if
know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or how much more do you want to know that you're saved so you can see them again in heaven when you die? Because we're all gonna die.
Yeah.
And what a great reunion
Or
that'll be with these
if
church
you-
friends.
If you lived in a really special time of like the late 90s, early 2000s, it was always like
What a time to be alive.
the world is a scary place.
Mhm.
Mhm.
The things that are happening, I mean, I'm sure they still use that now. The things that are happening in this world, we're not guaranteed tomorrow.
Mhm.
Maybe this is your last camp and you don't know.
Especially
And when you get to heaven, what are you going to say?
After
Are you going to say,
Columbine,
are you
Yes.
going to say to God, I thought I had more time? No, you're not. He won't take it.
I'm telling you, it was
You'll go
because
to hell.
1999 Columbine happened, and they like in our 2000 camp then or summer 99, I don't remember exactly which one. They had like crosses up to signify all the kids that had been killed at Columbine, and Rachel Scott's parent was there or something. I can't quite remember. It was like we were sobbing. Like we were totally
Well-
sure that we were going to be killed at school and we needed to accept Jesus
but
for the
we would be
45th
asked,
time.
but also that you would be asked, do you believe in God?
Yes.
And
And
knowing
that
that,
whole
yes,
path-
you'd be shot, and no, you'd be saved.
Yep.
They were
They
training you to
played
say
up.
yes, to be martyrs.
Mhm.
They played up that whole story because Cassie Bernal, the story was that she had been asked,
And that's not true.
and none of it was true. That's the thing. It didn't.
Where did
play
it
out.
originate from? Who started the
somebody
story?
else was asked. Somebody
And
else
she
that
was
was there.
spared. She
Mhm.
lived.
Yep.
Who was
Anyway,
asked? Someone was asked and they said no, or they said
Somebody
yes.
else
They
said
said
yes,
yes.
and she's alive. Like she was
Yeah.
in the library as well. Do you
The
all
shooter
remember?
asked.
Yes, another
Okay.
girl, and she was not
It-
killed. And then they said
the
it was
thing
Cassie
about
Bernal.
church camp was that there was nothing was off limits. They would use anything that they could to manipulate the people that were there. I remember, so our morning session of chapel before we left was like, hey, everybody, here's an open mic. come talk about what God did in your life this week. And the things I think about it now, and I'm like, people would go up there and they'd be like, I was molested by my uncle when I was 10. I've never told anybody until this moment. And I think about like over and over, people would reveal these really horrifying, like dark secrets. And I think to myself now, like, who reported that? Who reached out to
Right.
that camper's parent and was like, hey, by the way, your child revealed to us that they were molested.
Mhm.
Maybe talk about that with them. And I, having been a camp counselor and a camp staff member, can say, nope, no, nope, nobody reports anything. There's
Yeah.
no. And so while yes, now I feel like we've gone very full circle, but like I do have a soft spot for camp because of the social aspects of it. But when I think about the emotional, spiritual aspects of it and what transpired, that maybe adult me is like, ooh, that was questionable. I do feel a little bitter.
I think,
Mhm.
and I might have a slightly different perspective because I don't have my own children that I'm thinking about, like, do I send them to something like this, VBS camp, whatever. And there's no judgment to anybody who is sending their kids to these things. I know some people said in the comments that their kids were going, like, there's no judgment. But being someone who's not having to consider it for their own children, I have a harder line with it. And I think that the bad outweighs the good.
Oh, yeah.
I think that there's other things you might have to work a little harder to find them, I think. And that doesn't mean that if you send your kids to church camp, I think you're wrong.
Right.
I see, like, a friend of mine, her daughter's like, next week she leaves for Young Life camp, and I have a lot of opinions about Young Life, and I'm like, it's like I can't tell her. I'm like, cool, fun. And I'm like, part of me is grateful for her because with the transition of like leaving the church we were at, and she did not have the same high school experience as me. She never went to church camp. And like we went every year. So part of me is like, yeah, this social thing that she found in Young Life is amazing. And I'm so happy for her. And also run. Like, and I don't know.
Run.
I'm so conflicted.
It's conflicting. So Dan is saying this is why church leaders need to be mandatory reporters. So
100%.
technically church staff members are mandatory reporters. And in some, it's a state by state law. In some states, a volunteer for a church is a mandatory
Right.
reporter. And like where I just was in Kentucky, anybody over the age of 18 is a mandatory reporter. But it's less about what the law says and more about what the camp, because the camp isn't listening to those stories and being like, we should report that. They're listening to those stories and they're like, man, what that person was delivered from. This is a
I know,
miracle.
it's so gross. Yeah, it's stupid.
But like that 15-year-old needs counseling. That
Yeah.
15-year-old needs an adult in their life that they can be honest with, not a group full of 15-year-olds who are going to be like, yep, the Lord moved. It was nice. See you next year.
Yeah. Well, and the hard part about those things is as a kid, you are having very strong emotional feelings that you are conflating with the Holy Spirit and real spiritual things. So it's hard to reconcile as you go older. You use those things as almost like baselines for your faith and why you believe certain things. And it makes you want to listen to these people more because you did have such a connection and this emotional thing. But really, it was that you were exhausted and you shared something very personal and you got validated in that. And that is a very emotional experience.
Yep.
Listen, before we go to the ending, like the little fun thing we'll do at the end, because we can talk about this forever. Can I also mention that one time we got a very stern talking to from our youth pastor and he made sure we knew how grateful we should be for what we knew, because we were at a lift up at Cedarville University and they did this, presentation of Jesus dying on the cross, one of the counselors, whatever. And do like when they've done like at a passion play, the like plastic things that they have the actor or whatever put their hands in so the nails look like they're going through his hands? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
You don't? Okay. So if they're on the cross, they're like these plastic things that their hands are actually sitting in that have like the nail. So it looks like they're nailed on the cross. And he fell. His hand wasn't in it. So Jesus fell off the cross. And the whole place, thousands of kids are trying not to laugh because Jesus died on the cross or fell off the cross. And then afterwards, one of the kids that was with us, that was from one of the local high schools, and he wasn't a Christian. And somehow somebody talked him into coming to camp. Didn't know why we were laughing because he didn't know that Jesus didn't fall off the cross. He thought maybe Jesus fell off the cross in real story. So my youth pastor was like, You are so ungrateful. There are people in the world that have never heard the gospel. They don't know. Like, this guy didn't know. He like pulled him on blast in front of all of us. Like, he didn't know. It made us feel like we were assholes for laughing. Listen, you're 14 and a guy falls off the cross. That's fucking funny. I'm sorry. That's hilarious.
Okay, how old
Anyway.
was the guy on the cross? Because
He's like 20 because we're
have you ever had the camp experience where whoever they got to play Jesus on the cross was fucking fine, and you were
Okay,
like,
I'm gonna send you his
Yes.
picture. He was so good looking.
I'm so uncomfortable.
Yeah, and then you're having like, oh my gosh, that is you're
I'm
you're
lusting
attracted.
after Jesus, and he's dying on the cross.
I'm pretty
Usually he's
sure.
shirtless.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure I have a picture of him and I from when he was. I probably went up to him, which we ended up being friends later in life, which is super awkward. But like went up to him like, "Hi, Clay, can I get a picture with you?" And I'm
Hi.
pretty sure I have a picture with the guy.
That's adorbs.
See,
Okay.
as someone who enjoyed the attention of everyone, I would be like, man, that young man on the cross is like talking about being hung on a cross.
Oh,
And then-
Abby.
And then the girls who would be like so moved and emotional and crying about it, I'd be like, let me comfort you. It's fine.
Oh my gosh.
Well, you took it a little too far. Thank
Okay,
you.
Abby, on that
Listen.
note, take us to our game.
All right,
gotta
we
wrap
have a
this up.
game.
We're at an hour
We have-
15.
Hey, listen, timekeeper.
You can't
Your
be mad at her for keeping
Your
the
moment
time.
to
That's
shine
what-
was 15 minutes ago.
No, I've said okay several times up to this point.
She's tried
I'm
quite a
like,
few times.
okay.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna play a quick game. Katie, I'm already drunk, so I hope this isn't a drinking game.
I'm a little buzzed too.
Rachel will have to take a drink if she's wrong, and
Okay.
April
I don't
will
have a
also,
drink.
but April's drink is less effective, right?
Okay.
My
Okay.
drink is not effective.
So I'm gonna read you some camp rules. Okay, church camp rules, and you have to tell me if it's a real rule pulled from a camp's brochure or if I made it up. Okay.
Okay.
I feel like these are going to be very obvious and that I'm annoyed by it. All right. Use of camper bathhouses is a privilege. Campers found abusing or wasting resources may be denied use of the bathhouses for the duration of camp. Fact or fiction?
You can't take a bath or you can't like shower anymore.
Do you think it's
that's
a real?
true. That's for sure
I
true.
think it's real.
That's a real rule from a
That's
real.
Like you
ridiculous.
fuck around in the showers, you're not showering till you go home.
I want to be like,
We'll show
who,
you.
who are you trying to punish? That person or everyone in their cabin?
Yeah,
Let's
that's
be
like
honest, we weren't really
that's a
showering
punishment
much
for
anyway.
all. Everyone loses on that.
Everyone loses. That's so gross.
I feel like that's like a variation of some old lady that was like, you want to be dirty, then you're going to be dirty all camp
Dirty.
long.
You're so dirty.
All right. All campers must participate in sunrise devotions at the lake. In the event of inclement weather, we will hold devotions in the canteen. Fact or fiction?
Yes, because we had to have morning. We had to.
I'm gonna say fiction.
That one's fiction. I made it up, but I do feel confident that some camp
Yes,
somewhere.
We
What
definitely
gave it
had
away
to.
for me was that you said
But Rachel,
canteen.
technically, you were wrong. Oh, we called our
Okay,
space.
fine.
We called our snack shop a canteen.
Ours was called Jerry's Place because he owned the place. Jerry, he still
course.
owns it. I'm pretty sure. Hi, Jerry.
But it wasn't far off. I would believe it wasn't like unbelievable.
All right. Well, I took a drink.
All right.
Whatever.
Campers must follow the code of conduct in their treatment of one another. There is a zero tolerance policy for verbal or physical bullying. Fact or fiction? Is this a real rule?
Fiction.
For verbal or physical bullying?
We bullied everybody.
True.
This is fiction. I looked at no
Right.
less than I think 7 camp websites. I could not find a single rule about what it would be like that
If
had
you're-
pertaining to bullying or being unkind or being
Mhm.
disrespectful.
Yeah, they don't care about that.
No.
87 rules about your swimsuits,
Mm-hmm.
but not a single rule about
Yep.
being mean.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
All right, ready?
Yep.
A beach towel or robe is to be worn to and from the beach.
True.
True.
That's true.
Yeah. What were you just
I
gonna
remember
walk
that.
back in your bathing suit?
No, too scandalous.
For
By bathing
shame.
suit, you mean your
Yeah.
shirt and t-shirt that's wet?
In your full outfit.
Oh my
this
gosh,
morning?
you guys, there was one and I didn't put it in because it was too long, but there was one that was like, if you're going to go water skiing, you must this is the whole rule. You must wear a shirt and or shorts below the knee, or not and or, sorry. You must wear a shirt and shorts below the knee or a dry suit or a wetsuit. Bathing suits alone will not be permitted during water skiing. And I was like, what?
They don't want a boob
What?
to pop out. A
Is that
boob?
what it is?
I've actually had a boob pop out after
Same.
a water ski sesh. So
Whore.
I've definitely come out of the water with my top like just totally off to the side. So
I
they're
thought
just-
Rachel was gonna be like, I've actually skinny dipped. It's fine.
You haven't skinny dipped? I mean, not at church camp, but like
Oh yeah, no, not at
I didn't skinny
not
dip
at,
at church camp.
not
but
at church camp. That would be weird.
if I can be in a pool or a hot tub without my clothes on, I'm going for it.
Ew, a hot tub.
Yeah.
A hot tub. I
You
feel like
had
there's-
hot tubs at your church camp?
No, I'm not talking about church camp now. I'm just talking about my life. I thought we had okay.
All right, listen. Listen, Linda, listen.
Oh god.
No back rubs or massages of any kind are permitted unless administered for a medical purpose by the camp medic.
True,
by
very
the pastor. By the
Oh.
old male pastor.
Oh, yikes.
But also, you
On
guys,
bike.
okay, so this is for real rule
Yeah.
from a camp, and back massage is literally in quotes.
No.
Why is it back massage?
That's allowed medically, though. If the Holy Spirit is leading a pastor to fulfill his needs.
Oh gosh, I hate it so hard. I hate it. Do
gross.
One more. Oh, dang it. Okay.
You gotta pick your fave.
Yeah, we gotta go. We're at 10:21.
You gave April one job and it was keeping us on time.
I know. It'll be fine. Okay, ready? Campers and counselors must practice modesty when getting dressed or changing clothes in the cabins. Designated changing areas are provided inside the cabins.
True. Maybe true.
I'm gonna say true as well.
Dude, that's true. What? Like,
So the girls
What?
just couldn't change in front of the girls. You had to be like, in
Because
a
now
nook.
they know about the gays.
Back then,
see,
none
and
of us, we didn't talk about
I
that.
really want to believe that it's because they're like, oh, that person is an adult and these are children, they're minors. We should make sure that this, and you know it's not. You
It's
know that they're
not,
like,
yeah.
some of these girls like girls.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Some of these girls do like girls, and it's
Hey, man,
totally fine.
Some of these girls do like girls.
Some of these girls like girls.
Not to pull a real 180, but there's a new song out from a TikTok rapper, and it's all about like liking girls no matter what boundaries they hold. They can all be baddies no matter their boundaries is a real lyric from the song.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
been on full like rotation in my home for
I have
days
not
now.
heard that.
Oh, I will send it to you.
Have you heard this song? I know April, I saw that you had reshared it too. By I can't think of Chris's last name right now, but
He's the gay country singer.
yes,
right?
but I'm still bleeding from that beating I got from the
Oh,
Bible
I
Belt.
saw that.
That song gets in my head, and I'm like, I need him to release the whole song now. I need him to do it.
I have never thought of the Bible Belt in that way, and I'll never not think of it.
I
As
love
like
it.
a
That's some
Bible
good
Belt
songwriting
woman.
right there.
Yeah,
for
it
sure.
was beautiful, and he's got such a good voice.
His
does.
little sweet little face too. I mean, he's adorable, and I love him.
And his cute little like disclaimers in the videos where he's like, don't, this might make some people mad.
He's so
No.
sweet. We're fangirls over here, clearly.
I know.
We
Man,
are.
we don't know. That was a fun episode.
Yeah, we're back.
We're back.
Woo!
So happy to be back. And I think we're gonna we always kind of keep things light anyway, but this summer I think we just want to make sure we keep everything super light. We're gonna
If
meet
you
over
have
the
like
summer.
a topic, let us
Yes.
know.
We would just want to like drink and have fun this summer.
Oh God, please, yes.
We'll probably be like, in our swim cover-ups here a couple times. Maybe,
I will
hopefully.
say, I almost made a promo video for this episode where I wore a bikini and was like, for all the years at summer camp, at Christian camp that I wasn't allowed to wear a bikini, I'm going to be doing the podcast in a bikini tonight.
I think you should have.
Okay,
We can do it
well,
the
I
next time.
didn't.
We can do it next time.
Well, if it makes you feel better, your face is no longer red. It has not stayed red the
It
whole
has
time.
gone down a little bit.
My anxiety was pretty high at the beginning, and it's lessened now.
Did it help or hurt when I said, so what have you been up to? Did that
Oh man, that was brutal.
It was like death.
You wrote
Yeah.
the notes. You wrote the notes.
Everyone's done. I did
I
write the
know, I'm
note.
just
I
kidding.
really should have been. But if you remember, it was right before we began. I told you how anxious I was, and you were like, "That's okay. I'll do the intro." When I wrote the notes, I was doing the intro, and I was asking you guys, like, "What have you been up to this summer?" And we didn't think about that.
As soon as the words came out of my mouth, I was like, oh, we're live. But I
Abby,
really wish I
how's
could
your
do.
life?
So how's life right now, Abs? Everything's going great. Yeah. I felt that way in 2020, that when I would I barely saw people, but starting in the summer, you started seeing people again. And I felt like people would be like, how have things been? And like literally everyone in my life has died in the last 4 months. I'm doing great.
People don't ask me. They're not like, "How are you now?" They're like, "How?"
You doing okay? Well, we're glad that you're back and that you're starting to do better. We missed you 2 months ago, but everyone, and I don't even know if you popped on and looked on YouTube, whatever the comments, there were a lot of comments for you on that episode. I don't know if you ever looked at them.
I popped on at the end of the episode and said hello.
Okay. Well, if you go back on YouTube, I think you can still see the live comments from not just me and April loving you, but that everybody in our comment
All the
section
love.
loves you
We
too.
love
And we're glad
Abby.
that you're back.
Well, thank you.
A little love fest to end this. So we will see you all at the end of June. And yeah, if you have some fun topics, but we're gonna make it fun this summer.
We should probably talk about Pride. We can talk about our Pride experience.
We can June's
For
gonna be
sure,
about
because
Pride.
by the end of June, we'll have all experienced.
We'll have all gone to Pride.
I would really, this is my request going into that episode.
Okay.
Be sure, whatever Pride you do, get a picture of you and whoever you're with at Pride at your most prideiest.
And
Okay.
everyone that's here listening, or if you're listening to it on it, you can send, is our email the hereticspodcast@gmail.com? I'm pretty sure it is.
Honey, you set it up. I have
know.
no idea.
I will put it in. I'm the worst. How do I
didn't
not know
we
what
had an email?
we do? Oh,
I
well, this is
honestly
very-
didn't know either.
You all didn't know we had an email? Oh my gosh. Yes, we have an email. It is, hold on, it's the hereticsshow@gmail.com. The hereticsshow@gmail.com. If you will send us pictures or anything like that, I would love to put that on here too. Just have it to me before the episode, and I can put a reminder out too. Love to show that off, everybody at Pride. And I would encourage everyone, if you've never gone, if that's not maybe something you've ever done or felt like doing, I'd encourage you to think about it. And if you're like, is it significant for allies to go if that's the position you're in? Yeah, it is. Actually, it is. And I think that it is a great experience. And I'm so excited for April and Beecher to go to Pride.
I know, our first one.
I'm so excited. I have to decide which one I'm going to. Ours are always on the same date here. Everybody's obviously the same weekend.
Cincinnati and Covington are on the same day.
They are this year. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I talked to Maggie. Maggie was telling me which one. I don't know which one we're going to, but and April will be over there with her.
With her bisexual finger. Listen,
I didn't know this was a thing.
So someone who I love dearly, she sent me a shirt that says the future is queer. So I didn't get the bisexual finger guns shirt. And
I need that one.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about the future is queer shirt.
Yeah.
It's from a company in Nashville.
Oh, cool. That's
Very
awesome.
cool. All right.
right.
Anything else before we go? Everybody? We're good. We love you guys
Love
in
to
the comments.
all.
So we always love when you guys are here. And if you are not here and you're listening to this later, if you ever have a chance on the last Sunday of the month to be here live with us, it's a good time to hear everybody in the comment sections and you can see everything. Hey, who's doing something?
Me, I'm sorry.
Do you know you have a microphone on?
Yes.
All right, that means it's time for us to go because we don't even care about our microphones anymore. Love you guys. Have a wonderful day, night, whatever time it is. And we will see you all at the end of June.
Bye.
Okay, bye.